Hello everybody, Giselle Grenier here from artplace.ca. In today's video, I'm going to create a miniature art, and for this particular piece, you can use it as an artist trading card, or you can fasten it on top of a piece of folded cardstock to create a front for a holiday card. And the theme for this one here is based on this cutout. Got this at Graphics Fairy. I'll link everything in the supply list. And she's got some really good stuff on there. So for everything that I'm going to be using here, other than something I bought specifically for this project, which was ribbon, I'm using stuff that's already in my stash. So I have a piece of 300-pound watercolor paper, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a layer of gesso. And because it's very rough, I'm going to be using my number 8 Bristle Bright, because it'll get right into the pores of the paper without adding too much gesso. This will just help paint stick to the card, and as well that the card will become a little bit more heavy, and when I'm actually applying the medium, it'll stick to the gesso and not be absorbed into the card, and then the card will bend and swell. And you don't have to put gesso on if you don't want to. Oh, and I also save some time by pre-stamping the back because I'm using this as an artist trading card. All right. Now I'm only doing one card in this because I'm doing a whole series of little projects that are short. But if you're going to do this, do them all in batches, like gesso everything and then do everything all at once. So I'm going to quickly just dry this. Didn't take long. And let's see, so I've got some paper that I want to use. And this is the DecoArt's new collage paper line, and I wanted to put some stars in that. That fit. Yeah, I won't have too much waste on that one. This is called Gold Basics. And with this paper, I'm inspired by the stars. So I'm going to use that, but I'm going to end up painting over it. So let's, we'll just use some, I'm using DecoArt Medium Matte Medium for that. Oh, I'm running low. I'm going to apply it to the paper. And although the paper is shiny, I am going to end up covering it with paint because I just want the stars to be in the background. I'll use the angled side of the brush to burnish it this way, and then this way. I also have a little texture tool, and I can use that to burnish that as well. Use whatever you have. I've gotten away from using credit cards because I found myself sometimes tearing the paper. All right. So let that dry for a couple minutes. Cut it. Where's my, oh, I have small scissors here handy. So with the paper, if you don't have this type of paper, use anything. Flip through a magazine. Find whatever you want. All this is a background. It's not going to be the focal point of the piece. It's just the background. And these pieces you can save for other stuff. All right, so I'm going to get some translucent white, Decor Media Fluid Acrylics, translucent white. And I'll just use a little brush that's damp, barely damp. And I'm just going to apply a layer of this. Now typically the metallics on this paper, the foil, will act as a resist. If you wipe it back, it'll come off the stars. So I'm going to let this fully dry and cure because I don't want the white coming off the stars. And you can see with the translucent white, I can still see the stars in the background. And by applying another layer, they become even more, they get pushed more into the background. Not quite enough. To make sure I put that card right side up. Okay, I'm just going to quickly give this a little dry. And just apply another layer. Okay, you don't want it to get more than that. So if you're using something from a magazine, keep that in mind as well. And the cutouts on this side, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. All right, that's that. Now, while that's drying, yeah, so I got this at Graphics Fairy and then I fussy cutted it, which I can't stand doing. I hate doing that. So I'm going to do this one, and I've got some little random scrap. This is from scrapbook paper. I bought a pad of paper at Michael's a couple of years ago for one sheet that I couldn't find anywhere else, and it was on sale. So, but I found this this morning, and I thought I'm going to use this. It's just Making Spirits Bright. It's the song, Jingle Bell song, and I just cut it out. And I'm going to edge this with Payne's Gray. Now, if you don't have Payne's Gray, the good lines of paint, they actually have the pigments that are used to make this up. Now, Decor makes it with, I can't see that, PB20 something. I'm thinking PB29, which is ultramarine blue, a black, a phthalo blue, and a red. The quick way to make Payne's Gray: 2 parts ultramarine blue, 1 part burnt sienna. Boom, done. I use pre-made paint like this, or pre-mixed paint, only to save time. That's all, only to save time. When I do the more formal art, then I will actually color mix. And I'm using just a double-sided pouncer. You can use a cosmetic sponge if you want. And loading it with Payne's Gray, brushing the excess off, and working like this. Some of you may have distress ink. Go ahead and use that. I try to avoid using those because they're not water soluble, which may not really be an issue, just that if I prefer my art to be more permanent. I have found myself using distress ink when I just can't, when there's a certain effect that I'm going for. You see I'm going very lightly. It gives it a nice finished edge to it. You can also come into it, which will really gather the paint on the outside, and then you can work towards the center, and then you'll slowly start coloring the paper. Now, if you don't have cutouts like this, you can go to a font place like Font Squirrel or Fontaholic or something like that. There's a lot of free fonts that you can get for personal use, and find one that's kind of like a typewriter script. I like the font called Mom's Typewriter, and just type on, using Word or something, the words to a song or just even your own quote or sentiment, and then print it on cardstock. And then you have your own personal message. We're going to be covering it up, so don't spend too much time doing that. Or don't spend too much time finding the quote. And if you're using, I printed this on cardstock. And if you, and let's say you don't have cardstock, what you can do is, once you've printed it, you can apply a layer of, well, maybe 1 or 2 layers, maybe 3 layers of gesso, thin, even quotes. Quotes. Even quotes. Okay, just giving him a nice outline. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. I just like, it really makes the image pop. Okay, well, that was a waste of paint. Well, not waste of paint. And paint that you have on your table, if it's been on there too long, don't put it back in the bottle because it'll likely be dried out. I'm working on my unstick mat as my palette. Alrighty, oh, I'm gonna fire up my glue gun. And if your surface is really, really cold, it's not quite dry yet. It may be dry to the touch, but there's the layer underneath. All right. So, holy cow, you know what? I totally forgot to measure this. It was just right. So I'm thinking that, and then I'm going to put the ribbon here, and I'm going to stencil something here. And I've got the gloss enamel stencil. I'm thinking of this little Christmas tree. Put a little Christmas tree right there. And then the ribbon, this is just ribbon from Michael's. It was a 50% off. And then I'm thinking like that. And then I've got a die cut like this. Now I have found if you're going to be creating these to mail, these wood die cuts do not fit in a standard envelope slot. You end up paying the next rate up for shipping for one of these. So if I were to ship it like this and just print paper quote, it would cost me $1.20 Canadian to send this out. But because I'm putting this on, I believe what I paid yesterday when I sent one out was $2.95. $2.95 or $1.80. Anyways, it was the next rate up just by using this wood cutout. So keep that in mind. And let's see, I'm going to use matte medium to glue that down. But if you're putting this on a greeting card, you can use whatever you want. Create your own quote on on cardstock. Giving that a nice coat there. I have a funny feeling I'm forgetting to do something. See, what I should have done is I should have trimmed the paper down so I had a nice border on both sides. That would have been really pretty. All right. And let's see. Are you done yet? No, you're not hot yet. I have to wait for the glue gun to heat up. Well, why don't we stencil the little tree? So I'll put that. Actually, oh, I just came up with an idea. Okay, if I can get that as far down to the bottom as possible. That should work. And I'm going to get my green paint. I've got phthalo green yellow and burnt sienna. Not going to need a lot. The burnt sienna is just to knock down the vibrancy of the green. That's pretty right there. Gonna take a little stencil brush. I wiped off the excess and I'm going to apply a very, very light translucent coat on that. And I want to take a look at it first. Very light. I actually like that just the way it is. Okay, I'll put that aside. I'm going to clean that after. Get rid of that. Is that glue gun? Yeah, glue gun's ready. Let me just quickly try that. And I need to put the ribbon down first. So put that down. And I want to apply a good heavy strip on that because I want it to be almost like 3D. Being very careful not to burn myself. Yes, it's raised a bit, which is really nice. I like that. Okay, I'll let that sit, and then so if I put him here, he'll be raised up here. If I put him here, he'll be flat. I actually like him right there. And then what will stop this from flapping? I'm going to put that right on top. So it looks like, so what the edging that I did, he looks like he's shadowed. So I am going to put glue, a hot glue gun, thinner on this side. This is his left side, yeah. Thinner on this side. A little bit thicker on this side. Then I'll let that sit for a couple of seconds. I want to trim all this down. You can paint just a red strip if you want. All right, that's fine. Now this little guy here, I'm going to use Deco Art Dazzling Metallics. This is Festive Red. And I'm going to use a little brush. There's a little pop down on the back of this already. These little sentiments I picked up from Michael's. When you pull them off the paper, I got a whole bag of these for $1.50. Joe picked them up for me. And when you take these off the paper, you have to be really, really careful. The really long sentiments ripped. Not ripped, they broke in half. You just have to do it really slow. And I didn't prime the wood die cut first because the metallics are transparent. I wanted some of the grain of the wood to show through, so it's very, very subtle. And you can paint that as dark as you want. So if I wanted that a bit darker, dry it wait for it to cool down, then apply another layer. And you can just repeat this as much as you want. You can also apply a layer of acrylic paint, red acrylic paint, then apply the metallics on top of that. And I'm not going to bother painting the edges because I like the nice wood edge to it, but I am going to make sure that there aren't any globs of paint on there. And that I will put back in the bottle. Alright. And all that's left to do now is glue that down. And I have another little thing I want to do. So I'm going to use the glue gun. Sure, I got the little glue gun that I have. This is the battery powered one that Joe got me. I love it, but it's big. And I found that the battery lasts me about an hour. And I'll just pick off all these little thingamabobbies after. I'm going to press it down on this side first. Whoops, you know what I did? Shoot. Yeah, see, it pulls the paper down. I should have did a dry fit first. Am I going to be able to cover that? Shoot. Okay, so what do? We don't panic. My fault completely. I should have did a dry fit first, and I didn't. I'm going to use Payne's Gray, and I'll just cover that. And what I also should have did here, I could have put a little bit of varnish, and that'll be fine. Okay. So now I'm just going to put the glue gun just on top, not squeezing it, just putting it on top to melt the glue that's already there. And I'll have to put a little bit on the end because that's what ripped up the paper. And on this one here, I am using the glue gun, because it'll make the letters 3D. So I'm going to work from this side. There we go. So the letters will actually stick up. And then, so I've got some little bits of the glue showing there. I'll do a little bit of tweaking and adjusting on that. What I want to first do is I want to edge this. So I want to edge this with a blue green, but I don't want it to be so bright. Ooh, that's really orange. Change my mind on that one. These are wax metallics. So I'm going to add some orange to this, which will neutralize it. So I'm going to get the blue-green going first. If there's marbling, that's fine. Then put in the orange. And this is polished coral. Is it polished coral? Yeah, polished coral, lavish green, and cosmic blue. So equal parts of the blue and green, and then almost double the polished coral. And you know what I'm gonna try? I got these dabbers from Decors for gloss enamels. They're really neat. They've got these little spongy things on here. Let me try what these do. Oh, okay. The cosmetic sponge, I was concerned that I would get too much on the front. I want to do that with a brush. Oh, and it works quite nicely on fabric too. I've used these before neat. Okay, so I can even just do a little bit on the edge here. Yeah, that works. But on the side, I'm just going to use a little brush because I want it to look streaky, sketchy. Almost like it's been dry brushed. And this here, I'd like to say I can put this into another container to use it for later. It'll dry out. This stuff here, once it's burnished, it's permanent. You can still seal it, but once you, in this form, it's water soluble. But once you burnish it, it's ready to go. Okay. One thing I thought about what I can do in there is I can put some glitter or even some micro beads. I'm gonna get in front here. So if I were to take some crackle glaze and I need a little brush. And pre-choose what I'm going to use. So I'm thinking the clear is actually kind of nice. And little tray. Are you kidding me? I've got a gazillion trays here and I'll have an empty one. Yeah, that'll work. So all I'm doing now is basically where the glue is, where the hot glue was, and I'm just going to apply some of this crackle glaze, very, very thin layer to it. Put a little bit inside. Just need the beads to stick to something. And then the glaze will also add a little bit of interest, as long as it's very thin, right on top of the text. What did I just do? Static. You can use glitter for this. Yeah, that looks really good. That looks really good. And now you can't tell if there's any hot glue there. Just looks like little micro beads. Happy accident or what? Happy accident or what? So we'll have some slight cracks in there. And, oh, you know what? I'm not even going to try this right now to put that back in there. And what this is I've got, turn my glue gun off. I've got decoupage matte, the matte glue. I put it into a little bottle and I swirled it around, shook it for about, for a couple of hours just to dissolve a bit of the water. Yeah, it'll create a nice glue. You could use Weld Bond as well. You can even use the glue gun. Where did they go? Oh, at the bottom. So I picked this up. Joe found this for me at the dollar store. I love shopping with him. He finds me all this really cool stuff. And, oh, there it is. Little rhinestone in the shape of a star. But these things here, oh my God, if you don't seal the package, I thought I would put that right there at the top. You want to make sure you don't use just a regular paper glue for this because it won't stick to the rhinestone. And this dries clear. Oh, what a dirty, dirty, dirty set of tweezers. Whoops. Right there. And we're done. There we go. So we've got some nice contrast. And once this sets, it takes about an hour. Then I'll just come back and tap again to take the excess off. If you want to, if this happened to you, you can also come back with a light, maybe like a satin spray, and that'll just kind of fix everything back down. But there we go. A very simple little trading card. And what I forgot to do was actually burnish the wax metallic. Sometimes when things go wrong, I get totally sidetracked. But one thing that's important, never panic. It's just a piece of art. So there we go. Once this is dry, if I need to, I may come back and put a little bit more of the beads around, but I really like the contrast of that. Now what else you can do with this, you can put, you can tie a little tag here if you want to make that like a card, but you can actually take this now and you can even darken the edges if you want, but you can actually fasten this to a card for a greeting card. You can use this as a postcard, an artist trading card. It's miniature art. You can use it any way you want. All right, so I hope that you enjoyed this and you learned from my mistake. Dry fit first, and I'm going to clean up now and I'm going to prepare for my next video. So if you enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. As well, comment below if you've ever made holiday cards of any sort, whether they're ATCs, miniature art, greeting cards, anything like that. I'd love to hear what you've done and get some different ideas. And also feel free to post pictures. You can send them to me by email or post them in our private Facebook group. Links to both of those are on my website at artplace.ca. All right, so I'm off. And until I see you next time, stay inspired.